Indians are known to be very intelligent people. You go to US and any place, they say Indians are very smart guys. So there is natural intelligence already in us. Now added to that, if we use the tools of AI, I think we are going to be compounding the efforts and the advantages that are going to be gained out of it. And that's why AI is going to be very important to lead the world. We missed many buses in terms of technology development from the industrial revolution onwards till now. Although in terms of what we say, programming and the software industry, we have made our mark. We are globally superpower in terms of when it comes to software industry. We must the bus in hardware. We are trying to catch up in that. But most importantly, all the tools of modern era where the jobs are going to be created in the future, be it AI, IoT, machine learning, deep learning, robotics, 3D printing, augmented reality, virtual reality, blockchain, cyber security, cloud and quantum computing. I think we have a chance to leapfrog and come very close to what the rest of the world is doing and lead the world. I think that is an opportunity we should not miss. And that is where, when it comes to empowering our people, we have started in different ways. Dr. Pillai rightly mentioned about the, also Sharma, he mentioned about our tinkering labs, using the power of technology from the school level. Having tinkering labs in the schools through TIO, more than 5,000 schools. We also have put up more than 150, 160 laboratories of robotics in different schools. And many other agencies are also trying their best in terms of empowering our children from the school onwards. But on July 29, 2020, this is 1 year plus about 1.5 months, 1 year, 1.5 months ago, 29 July 2020, India adopted the new National Education Policy. After 36 years, the new policy. Dr. Sahasrabudhe, the author of this, has narrated many firsts in the education policy which were not existing in the past, but nowhere in the world they exist. Some of these things happen. For example, academic bank of credits, exiting at any time and entering any time in education. Well, this is very important for third world countries, not only India but many other nations of the world. This kind of philosophies are very, very important. And also talking about one side values and other side most modern education, Indian knowledge systems, values on one side to the most modern education, innovation is also talked about in this policy. And that's why school education has already decided to have AI as one of the subjects in the school curriculum. Can you imagine very few countries in the world must have thought of having AI as a part of the curriculum. So having started that, maybe a few years down the line when 6th standard students from the schools will start learning AI tools, you can imagine when they complete their 12th grade and then come to higher education, technical or otherwise, they would have the great progress of making that implementation. You all recollect, first time when AI made the big news was when Deep Blue in 1997 IBM created and started playing chess with the global chess super people, from Russia and America. And in one or two games, the Deep Blue was defeated, but subsequently it learned and it defeated the world champion. That means the best of the brains who were able to play that chess was remodeled, learned by the computer, and then implemented it and then defeated the same person from whom it had learned. So I think that is what we often say, Guru se shish bahut bada hota hai. So I think something like that happened in the case of Deep Blue. And that is what is happening all around the world today. All the technologies which have been emerging, they learn from each other. And this AI is going to be the most powerful tool in our future. And that's why this particular conference on AI is gaining more and more significance in the years to come. I'll give you a few examples of what AICTE has been doing and how it is linked with the vision of the government. We want that our children must be experts in all the upcoming areas, and therefore Dr. Pillai as well as Raj mentioned about the curriculum revision is very important. We have taken this exercise years back, we started revising the curriculum of undergraduate education. That is most important because employability, entrepreneuriality, all of that will come from our undergraduate students being prepared very well. And that's where when we added courses like what I said, AI, IoT, machine learning, deep learning, robotics, it came in the curriculum. But when it comes to actual delivery in the classroom, our teachers themselves were not trained. They were all graduates of ESTER era, maybe 20 years, 30 years earlier, and they themselves had not studied. And you remember, all are written as professor. Actually, I am a real professor in IIT Guwahati, and they are all doing some other activity. I am also doing a different activity today. But our professors who graduated 20, 30 years ago, these subjects were not there. And although we keep talking about lifelong learning, very few people are capable of doing it. And therefore, there is a lot of hand-holding, mentoring required, support systems required in order to train them so that they will deliver it in the classrooms. And that's how we innovated and started doing what is known as AICTE's Training and Learning Academy, Anil Academy, under which we started having these courses, 1 week program, where experts were delivering and faculty were learning from. But pandemic suddenly broke down that chain. We had a stop for about a month in March 2020, and again picked up by May, and we started everything online. And last year, 978 5-day workshops we conducted and trained 1.65 lakh faculty members in all emerging areas of technology. AI being the base. I'm connecting AI because you go to machine learning, you talk about robotics, you talk about data analytics, you require AI. Without AI, none of this can function. Industry 4 cannot function without AI. And that's why one of the major workshops in this 978 of them were based on AI. And not stopping at that, this year we said we will break our own world record. We were given in the World Book of Records just about 3 days ago in Indore. From UK, they flew in and then gave the award to AICTE. This year, with 1,300 plus workshops, we are planning to train 200,000, 2 lakh. Last year, 1.6, not good enough. This time, 2 lakh. And we have about 5 lakh faculty members in technical education. If more than half of them are covered, you can imagine the kind of delivery that's going to happen in our classrooms, and then in turn, the innovation that spurts out of that from the campuses. This is very important. We had another interesting event that is also recorded in Guinness Book of World Records. An IIT Madras startup called Buhi. I don't know how many of you are knowing, small startup. They give training in AI. They give programming, in terms of Python. They give training for students. They came to IIT and said, we will try for training 10 lakh students in 1 day. Very big challenge. We announced we could not get 10 lakh registrations. We got 6.25 lakh registrations in about 1 week's time. And the date was decided. On that day, training started in the morning at 8 o'clock. Next day morning, 24 hours down the line, it was closed. 1.2136, 1,21,000, I don't remember the last 3 digits. They completed that entire training in Python and created a face recognition application. All these students were from high school to college. And only 1 single day. And the Guinness Book of World Records has recorded. I think there are many possibilities. And we have a platform called NEET, National Educational Alliance for Technologists, under which small and big companies, multinationals to startups, if they have a product which is based on AI, we onboard it onto our platform by going through a very rigorous process of evaluation. The first one is a blind evaluation. Without knowing the name of the company, some experts will look into what is the outcome out of that particular product. And then when selected, we look into all the regulatory business in terms of whether it is registered, they are paying taxes or not. And then the third one is the detailed analysis of the product. And then when it is onboarded on the platform, there are very interesting conditions that you must be selling it only via AICTE. It's a cost product. Some of them zero cost, some of them ranging from 5,000, 10,000. Some high-end products are 35,000 rupees. But for every 4 students who buy the product, you have to give one product free of cost, which AICTE will give it to SC, ST and economically backward students who cannot afford that even 5,000 rupees. And this is empowerment. And more than 100 odd companies and their products are now on the NEET portal. They are all having an AI engine, and what they do is the learning in that particular domain, it is tested, and depending on where you stand, it gives you guidance in learning further in different domains, and finally at the end of the entire course, all of them who go through the course will have the same outcome or same level of achievement. That means someone may complete it in 1 month, someone may take 6 months, but the product is available for evaluation and learning all these 6 months' time. And this is how empowerment takes place. One who is capable of paying should pay, and the others who cannot, we will support them. This is how we have taken it forward. Not only that, you talked about languages, that that you speak in your language, in Malayalam. I will listen in my mobile phone in Marathi or Kannada. So that is a possibility which exists, which has not come as a product in the market, but research is going. We on our side, when the new education policy talked about providing education in mother tongue, of regional languages, and Prime Minister has been advocating this for quite some time. AICTE took upon the mantle to decide to start this, and 14 colleges in India have agreed to start teaching engineering education in mother tongue, Tamil, Telugu, Marathi, Bengali and Hindi. But then we do not have books in these languages, and therefore, even though the classes may be held for fall back upon and then reading that material and then writing exams, students have difficulties. So what we did is we developed a AI-based translation tool, which is far superior to even what Google and Microsoft does. I'll tell you why. Translation by Google and Microsoft is also very good, but it does text translation. But we find that if you have to create the books in regional languages, there are lots of equations, there are a lot of tables and figures, they are all in the form of pictures. Then there are PDF files, you have to convert that into a document in your own language. It is a big challenge, and we have cracked it. Please remember, this has been done by one single person, one Sahasrabudhe, who has worked earlier in US and come back to India. And with the support and help of student agents. The people who have created this product are second year, third year engineering students. And they have an experience of our Smart India Hackathon where students of second, third, fourth year, they have created wonders. DRDO is to have adopted some of the technologies developed during the Smart India hardware and software hackathon. So what was missing in our country was giving support, mentorship to our students. And now, with the help of AI on one side, language being available, the books being available, people can start learning in their own regional languages from tribal areas, from rural areas, remote areas. And the tool of AI, when it is available to such large number of people, we have 1.35 billion people, all of them, if they are empowered, imagine where India would be in terms of the Committee of Nations. I think that is where we are leading. I think I will stop here because we want to listen to Professor Vijay Raghavan, who is having a lot of ideas on various fronts. And let us make it happen. Let Raj Sharma, we should move ahead and then do wonderful things in this country to develop this planet in a much better manner. Thank you very much.